Hello and welcome to New Central Television. I am Lekon Onobanjo. The top stories at this hour. In a groundbreaking pre-election conference, New Central hosts dialogue for political parties ahead of local government polls. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar says the coalition to unseat President Bola Tinubu in 2027 is gaining momentum. Plus, International Committee of the Red Cross says more than 8,000 people missing in 2024 due to the conflict in Sudan. Details to come your way shortly. We start by telling you that chairmen of political parties in Lagos have called for greater collaboration, integrity and inclusiveness as a way to engender citizen participation and boost voter confidence in the electoral process. They spoke at a political dialogue organized by New Central Television on Thursday ahead of local government elections in Lagos, slated for July 12. George Ashiru of the Africa Democratic Congress emphasized that politics is about forming alliances, not campaigning outside election seasons. Echoing the need for balance, Ronnie Dikokila of the NNPP criticized Nigeria's winner-takes-all approach and stressed the importance of a strong opposition, similar to the U.S. system.
I think it's a big phrase to say that the allegations are that there are some parties that are fronting for other parties. It may be something that could end up being litigated, so maybe we should avoid that kind of general statement. However, politics is about collaborations and alliances. So where there could be some parties that have decided they want to collaborate with another party for whatever reason, maybe they don't have a strong enough candidate, maybe they don't have enough funds to run their campaign. I'm not speaking on their behalf, but I'm just want to make sure that facts and opinions are separated. But let's go back to the original issue that you raised about when people disappear. Politics is electioneering, and then after there's governance. So you can't continue campaigning when there's no election. So the people that are contesting spend money, time, they go on the media, they are doing all manners of politicking. As soon as elections are over, if you don't win, what happens? You know, you don't just start campaigning, so to speak, because you're no longer a candidate. So it's not left with the parties to now begin to imbibe within themselves proper internal democracies to prepare for the next election. In politics, one has to be careful to differentiate between allegations and facts. And I'm speaking generally on behalf of political parties. I am also establishing the fact that there is nothing wrong when parties that have similar ideologies decide to pick a particular candidate to support. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing intrinsically wrong about it. But it is what is important is this the will of the people in the party? That's what matters the most. As long as that is the case, then those sort of alliances will occur. That we have them in parliamentary societies as well, where parties come together to form government. And I think this is actually what we need to do more of. Why should we have single party states, one party rule, when there are parties that collaborate to help govern? That's a question that I would also like to throw out to everyone else.
It's true that during elections, you see all the political parties. And after elections, it's like you don't get to hear about them anymore. And that was why I said, I'm going to take it from where it stopped. It's like the winner takes it all. But the thing is this, the Nigerian situation is just a pity that we are the way we are. If you look at America, for instance, Donald Trump is there as the president, and he came up with all manners of policies that opposition is against. But you see, even the common man on the street is out there protesting that, look, we will not accept this. You have to abide by the Constitution. But Nigeria is a different ballgame altogether. In Nigeria, borrowing his phrase, the winner takes it all, that is what we're experiencing. During electioneering, you see people, the political parties, they make all efforts to be heard. They become very visible during elections. After elections, they disappear.
Okay,
why?
Let me interject and ask if you think that is the reason people are talking about collaboration.
And Phillips Iwoji of the PDP urged parties to field candidates with integrity, warning that those in power often use their positions to suppress others. Labour Party's Dayo Ekong pointed out that 65% of their supporters are youths. She condemned political segregation and declared the party will no longer remain silent on issues of inequality.
When you look at how political party is handled in Lagos State by those in power, the people who are in government, right from AD to several parties up to this time, you will see that from the onset, we are supposed to bring up good people for election, people that have integrity, the people that respect the rule of law, the people that want the sort to be presented. But what we observe in this state is that when you get to power, you do everything. You don't mind how far you will go to oppress other political parties in every way. You oppress them, they cannot even have free. If some of us we don't have confidence in ourselves. For instance, I was once a council chairman. I became a commissioner in Lagos State during the not during political parties days, during military time before I came to political party. So if we have integrity and we know what we are doing, we will continue to stand by what is right and do what is right.
Lagos State is a one-party state, as far as I'm concerned, because we all, especially in Labour Party, during the last election, we know what we experienced in this Lagos State. And even after election, that you expect that they assume they won and they are ruling, that they would allow peace to reign. But the aftermath of the election is that they still went after the opposition. And this has not helped at all. But we, irrespective of that role or this thing, we in Labour Party, we cannot be silenced. And that is why we have engaged, because a lot of youths, because Labour Party has more than 65% of youths, went into their shell. And what we did was to try to engage them by bringing them out with all forms of activity for them to also speak, and which will re-echo on the social media. But one thing I want you to know is that even at this, when we had a football tournament for the party to get any space in Lagos State, the moment they hear Labour Party, they said, no, you cannot use this. We don't want trouble.
Well, still on politics, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar said the coalition to unseat President Bola Tinubu in 2027 is gaining momentum, with plans underway to adopt a strong platform for good governance. Atiku made the remarks during a meeting with national opinion leaders in Abuja and reaffirmed them on his verified X handle, likening the coalition to a fast-moving train welcoming Nigerians from all backgrounds. He revealed that leaders from the APC, PDP, Labour Party and others have united under the Sabatafia movement, aiming not just for electoral victory but national transformation. Atiku also warned citizens against accepting financial inducements from politicians and has continued to rally support with allies like Nasir El-Rufai and Dele Momodu backing the campaign to end Tinubu's presidency in 2027. We now take you to Rivers State, where the sole administrator, Vice Admiral Iboke Teibas, retired, is expected to appear before a House of Representatives ad hoc committee on Rivers State oversight on Thursday. The committee's decision to summon him was taken on Wednesday, just a day after it was constituted by Speaker Tajuddin Abbas, as its members held their inaugural meeting to examine preliminary reports and review the state of security in the state. Chaired by House Majority Leader Professor Julius Yombere, many view the committee as a soft landing of sorts for the declaration of a state of emergency by President Bola Tinubu, which has been widely condemned as illegal and unconstitutional. But then verifiable reports reaching us makes us understand that that particular meeting with the sole administrator of Rivers State has been postponed for now. Away from that, about 3 months in detention, a magistrate court in Apapa has freed the 17-year-old minor Alabi Quadri, who went viral ahead of the 2023 general elections for standing in front of the convoy of former Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi. Magistrate Adetola Olorunfemi freed him following the legal advice of the Director of the Public Prosecutions, Dr. Babajide Martins. The magistrates confirmed that the legal advice issued by the DPP showed that there was no evidence to substantiate the allegation of armed robbery against Quadri. In its legal advice, the DPP recommended the non-prosecution of Quadri and another defendant, one Muiz Animashaun. Quadri and Animashaun were standing trial alongside 3 others for the offense of armed robbery. The DPP, in its advice, however, recommended that a prima facie case had been made against the other 3 defendants and they should proceed to stand trial.
If you observe what is going on, some people from the same community have been mobilized to come here and distort what is going on. If anybody is attacked, if anybody is hurt in this place, I want the media to take note of the people that are coming here to cause issues. If they have anything to say, I expect them to come here and speak to the media. If they can bring their hostility to court, you can only imagine what they will do to this family. If anything happens to this family, the boys who are here, who think they can cause trouble, they should know we have taken note of their faces and nobody has monopolies to cause crisis. So let them be careful that nothing should happen to Quadri, nothing should happen to his mother, nothing should happen to his sister or any member of his family.
And in February, we organized a football match between Kirikiri inmates and Twitter influencers. So we got to know about one guy. That was there. He was owing the sum of 1.2 million naira, and that was why he was locked up. So after we helped that guy leave prison, he told us about Quadri, and that was how we started. We were here last month on the 28th. Well, the case was adjourned till 28th of this month. We're supposed to come back 28th, but due to his own work and influence, the case was brought forward to today, and thankfully, Quadri is out.
And now to Delta State, the Commissioner of Police of the state, Olufemi Abanimonda, has reiterated the command's determination to make the state intolerable for criminals by continuous proactive and intelligence-driven policing. Abanimonda disclosed this at the 2025 first quarterly media briefing held at the State Police Command in Asaba, Delta State capital. The CP says the command recorded immense success in the fight against crime and criminality, which has given rise to the massive recovery of sophisticated firearms, stolen vehicles, hard drugs, and the arrest of suspects.
7 suspects involved in various crimes, which includes 35 suspected armed robbers, 24 suspected kidnappers, 5 murder suspects, 22 suspected cultists, 4 suspects arrested for rape and defilement offenses, and a total number of 13 kidnapped victims were rescued. A total number of 53 firearms, which includes 11 AK-47 rifles, 9 Beretta pistols, 19 single-barrel locally made cut-to-size guns, and 13 pump-action guns were recovered. Lastly, a total of 5,612 rounds of ammunition cartridges were also recovered within the period under review.
We now go on a short break on the news. When we're back, Plateau State Governor Caleb Mutfwang visits people of Bassa, assures of improved security in Plateau State. We'll tell you more in a short while. Do stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. We tell you that the Nigerian Army has appointed Lieutenant Colonel Onyinyechi Anele as the Acting Director of Army Public Relations, making her the first woman to hold that position. and nearly a member of Direct Regular Course 15 and a fellow of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, will officially assume her new role on April 22, 2025. She takes over from Major General Onyema Nwachukwu, who has been redeployed to the Nigerian Army Heritage and Future Center. Before her appointment, Anele completed a 6-month strategic course at the Nigerian Army Resource Center and was posted to the Department of Civil Military Relations. She also previously served as Public Relations Officer in the Office of the Chief of Army Staff, gaining valuable experience in military communications and public affairs. Now, the federal government has flagged off a 65-kilometer, 3-lane dual carriageway segment of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway in Nsukka local government area of Akwa Ibom State. Governor Umoeno commended President Bola Tinubu for extending the project to his state. According to the Minister of Works, David Umahi, President Tinubu has ordered immediate reconstruction of the Calabar-Itu Road following widespread complaints about its deplorable condition. He assured that the road will be made motorable within the next 2 months.
Let me end by assuring our president, our people-loving president, who will complete 8 years, because we are going to stand by him. And this is the truth. He cannot start this work and abandon it. Somebody else may not finish it. Our prayer is to pray for Mr. President for good health, to finish the work that he has started and commission this work, so that this work will not be abandoned. Be like the East-West Road, like we have stayed there forever. This one will be finished, and the hand that has started it will finish it in Jesus' name.
The governor has complained about the construction of the Calabar Road. At every time he has always spoken about it, and we've taken a very decisive decision to honor him and honor the governor of Cross River. We've drafted high-tech to take off 20 kilometers of the road and reconstruct on concrete pavement. Immediately after Easter, high-tech is going to come in. The president has directed that the entire stretch be made motorable within the next 2 months.
And now the governor of Plateau State, Caleb Mutfwang, has reassured the people of Plateau State of his determination to ensure adequate safety of both lives and property in the state. The governor was speaking when he paid a condolence visit to the monarch of Irigwe Chiefdom and the people of the local government area of Basa following the Sunday midnight attack on 2 communities of Rike and Kimaka. And equally, the IGP, Kaide Egbetokun, also visited the state, assuring people there that peace and tranquility will be restored and they shouldn't take laws into their own hands. We now take this package, even as Chizoba tells us more.
This is the 3rd time Nigeria's police chief is visiting Plateau State, sadly on condolences. This time is as a result of the recent killings in Basa local government area. IGP Egbetokun, who reassured the commitment of the Nigeria police in restoring peace in troubled areas of the country, said everything possible will be done to bring masterminds of the killings to justice.
We have recently increased our deployment to Plateau State. We have deployed more men, more security personnel, and more operational assets to the affected areas. And the operations are ongoing. We are working tirelessly with other security agencies and intelligence community. We are intensifying our intelligence gathering efforts to identify the masterminds behind these dastardly acts and bring them to justice. We are going to continue to work together. We will continue to work tirelessly until we are able to solve these problems.
The governor is unwavering in his words that peace will reign again on the plateau with measures that have been put in place.
We have received additional deployments. The process was on even before this recent setback that we had. What has happened in the hinterland of Plateau, like you rightly described it, sir, is plain murder. It's sheer criminality that took place, where innocent lives were massacred. And there's a story behind this that we need to unravel and make sure that we deal with this thing faster than we think, because it is not just about Plateau. It's just that Plateau is in the news at the moment. But we need to find a way to arrest this situation as quickly as possible.
51 persons were killed early on Monday in Zike community, with houses razed and many displaced, just about 2 weeks after similar attacks led to the killing of scores in Bokos local government area of the state. In Plateau State for News Central, Chizoba Anyui.
And following the recent directive by the Abia state government for the creation of a new capital city to decongest the city center, the management of Umuahia Capital Development Authority says it has commenced talks with relevant persons on the possible location to be used. Speaking in an exclusive interview with New Central Television in Umuahia, the general manager of the agency, Kingsley Agomo, says the project is achievable in good record time. New Central's Chinwilgeli has more in this report.
Umuahia is a capital city defaced by a roadside market. Government says it has acquired the land for the market, waiting for developers to erect the stalls for petty traders.
His Excellency has paid compensation to those that lands were affected. Fencing has started. The design of the market, has been forwarded to His Excellency for his perusal and approval.
The traders are willing to move to a well-built market that they can easily access.
So if they can provide where we can stay, like a market, small market, and we're covered with something, like it will be better for us to manage our market.
The general manager of Umuahia Capital Development Authority, Kingsley Agomo, says once a location is chosen for the new city, the area will be developed with basic amenities to attract residents.
We have a new so that development can now leave the old town and move towards a new direction. So we're looking at two directions, either towards Tinga direction, so that the city can now connect with Aba, gradually connect with Aba, or move towards NNPC direction.
The government's central bus terminal, still under construction, is said to be one of the measures to make Umuahia a true state capital.
And then this is going to be a well-built bus terminal, which the state government is spending so much.
The general manager is meeting with various groups who conduct their businesses under projections in Umuahia to inform them of plans to dismantle those which do not meet the government-approved standard. Although the people who will be affected by this action say they understand government's reason, they are however worried that they may not have anywhere else to go.
It's a good thing to make Aba State good. That's because of no market. People say we have a very big market. I have my shop at Apapa. Only that market is not moving. That is why we are moving from street to street.
We are come to town. There are certain things that you should be seen around.
The plan, according to the Abia state government, is to decongest this area, popularly called Isigate. In Umuahia for News Central, Chinwe Ugele.
Away from that, mental health has long been a neglected issue in Nigeria, often overshadowed by more visible health challenges. Despite global discourses around mental health becoming more common, services remain underfunded, misunderstood, and unavailable to millions of Nigerians. In this report, New Central's correspondent Aisha Saliu speaks with mental health advocates on the importance and strategies for providing support to persons with mental health disorders in the country.
With a population over 200 million, Nigeria's mental health crisis is a silent epidemic that has been exacerbated by social stigma, economic hardship, underfunding, brain drain, dearth of mental health facilities, inadequate treatment infrastructure, amongst others. Data from the World Health Organization says that over 75% of persons with mental health disorders are in low and middle-income countries and receive no treatment at all, while depression and anxiety are among the most widespread mental health conditions in Nigeria. Available data says that 1 in 4 citizens will experience a mental health disorder at some point in their lives, with depression, anxiety, and substance abuse as its most common manifestations. With this in mind, experts are calling for more action on bridging the mental health care gap.
I did a research. I know a lot of people are on YouTube several hours watching films, watching bloggers, social media 4 or 5 hours. So I thought, okay, 1 or 2 hour session with all these great professionals will not be too bad. Was why we created that idea, and also add the mental health first aid training to enable people get more education and awareness about mental health treatment.
While many admit that mental health disorders are complex and often arise from a combination of biological, psychological, and social factors, they say government must play a fundamental role in visible closing gaps in the treatment and accessibility of proper mental health care.
Stable emotion is important for the government. Even the government need to involve all their ministers, all their NDGs, so that they will know how to treat people better. See, people are depressed, and they bring that depression into the service, and it affects the whole thing, the whole entire state, the entire country.
There's a need for the government to pay attention to change agents, to catalysts like myself, who are trying to make a change and work in collaboration. Number 2, to provide the support that is needed, the resources that are needed. And 3, to continue to empower us for more networking within their parastatal and the community.
Data from 2017 states that approximately 7 million Nigerians experienced manifestations of depression. Also, another 4.9 million people experienced anxiety disorders, with just about 300 psychiatrists serving the entire population, far below the WHO recommended ratio of 1 psychiatrist per 10,000 people. It is clearly evident that more investment in providing infrastructure and personnel to help upscale mental health care treatment is needed in the country. In Abuja, for News Central, Aishat Salihu.
Let's now tell you about environmental pollution. Well, there is a growing crisis of plastic pollution and its devastating impact on marine life along Nigeria's coastal waters. The Central correspondent, Bettina really looks into how plastic waste is infiltrating the oceans, endangering marine species, disrupting food chains, and threatening the lives of coastal communities.
From mainland to island, reports show that plastic pollution is a significant concern. Plastic waste is flooding our oceans at an alarming rate, threatening the delicate balance of marine environments. According to The Punch, the maritime sector incurs annual losses exceeding 5 billion naira due to marine environmental hazards caused by plastic waste. These hazards include the death of aquatic animals and disruptions to fishing activities, which are vital to local economies.
When we went to fishing, I normally help one man to carry his bag as a learner. So then I can see, can catch, so I come more than 500 pieces, 400 pieces. But now to get common 30 pieces now, you must work maybe morning till night before you can even get some 10, but sometimes you can't even get anything. The reason for the reduction, which I believe on my own as an experienced fisherman, I believe the blockage of the channel from the ocean to the lagoon. Because normally the fishes, they follow the lagoon to the ocean to the lagoon. That way they follow. But now many places that have been blocked.
The water they change sometimes. Yesterday the water there somehow it be like it not clean. Now crab they chop, so we not go yesterday. Now here we stand yesterday. I come out here around 3-4 o'clock in the morning time because Only two. God give me two.
Marine creatures are ingesting plastic debris in alarming numbers. Fishes are also consuming tiny plastic particles known as microplastics, which pose a significant risk to the entire food chains. As the plastics break down into smaller particles, they become even harder to remove and continue to poison the ecosystem. The consumption of contaminated seafood can lead to toxins entering the human food chain, putting vulnerable populations at risk.
Unfortunately, the way that we're using plastics is extremely harmful, particularly to marine life. Definitely, consuming fish, in fact, it's blowing big alarms all over the world now, especially in the medical world, because they are seeing microplastics, because the plastic breaks down into smaller pieces. And they're seeing microplastics in people's bloodstream. They're seeing microplastics in an unborn baby, in the embryo. It has penetrated that far because you're eating creatures that have eaten the plastic and you're absorbing this into your system. But it is a reflection because we've been behaving very irresponsibly.
With limited recycling initiatives and a high consumption of disposable plastics, much of the waste ends up in rivers and eventually the ocean. While the Lagos state government has taken steps to implement bans on single-use plastics, much more work remains.
So we've had cases of saying things like, okay, the plastics, the fish actually swallow the plastics and you come out with it, you cook it, and the plastic is still in there. So it's all about urbanization and increased human activity and how it is affecting the ecosystem, animal life, etc. Beach cleanups are some of the campaigns that we've seen where people go to the beaches and ensure that the beaches are clean. There are dustbins at the beaches, which has been kind of the human effort that we've been making to save, to protect this the life underwater, these fishes from exposure to plastics. So actions like that, actions like bringing a whole lot of value to the production of a single plastic. So when people know that, okay, if I pick up this plastic, I'm going to get a very good financial reward for it, definitely to reduce the cases of we having a situation whereby the plastics find their way into the ocean.
Plastic pollution is indeed a daunting issue for Nigeria's marine environment. It is up to all, governments, industries, communities, and individuals to protect the oceans for future generations. In Lagos, for News Central, Bettina Nwili.
Well, for the second time in less than 8 weeks, traders at the Agidinbi Mechanic Village in Ikeja area of Lagos State are groaning over loss of their means of livelihood due to another round of demolition exercise of their business premises. The premises, which shelters over 5,000 auto mechanic, traders, and artisans, was pulled down on Thursday. At the time of this report, it was unclear the legal rights and the authorities involved in the demolition exercise. The traders say they have operated for decades under an agreement that their structures are temporary, but are surprised by the sudden notice, which was followed by a demolition exercise. Their major concern was not being given sufficient time to relocate their businesses before eviction. Coming up on the news, Ivory Coast's main opposition party, PDCI, votes for Tijani Cham as candidate. We'll bring you more details of this and other stories in a short while. Join us again. Bringing you stories from other parts of Africa. In war-torn Sudan, over 8,000 people were reported missing in 2024, according to the International Committee of the Red Cross. The organization says that the number may only scratch the surface of the true scale of the crisis. Daniel O'Malley, head of ICRC's delegation in Sudan, said those are just the cases the agency has directly recorded, calling the situation the tip of an iceberg. Ongoing conflict and displacement have made it difficult to track the full extent of those unaccounted for. The Red Cross is urging greater humanitarian access and support to help locate missing persons and reunite families. as the nation continues to grapple with one of the world's most severe humanitarian emergencies.
And we've seen that it continues, and it's been continuing across the country. It would be difficult to say it's within this part or this part, but I think the very worrying thing and the very concerning is that it's almost being used almost in a, I wouldn't say a systematic manner, but I mean the incidence is even higher than we've seen in other conflicts. And one thing also which I wanted to highlight is that we're seeing cases obviously of women, but also of children, very young children, and even.
Let's now tell you that Ivory Coast's main opposition party, the PDCI, has voted to nominate Tijan Cham as its presidential candidate for the October 2025 election. Cham, a former minister and international banker, has been the sole contender and has received strong backing despite controversy over his dual citizenship. He confirmed renouncing his French citizenship to meet eligibility requirements, a move the PDCI defended amid legal challenges. Thousands of party members participated in Wednesday's vote, geared towards solidifying Cham's legitimacy ahead of the 10th electoral season. The PDCI, out of power for 25 years, expressed optimism about reclaiming leadership, while experts warn that Cham remains relatively unknown to many Ivorians. Tensions have escalated, with rallies spreading across cities and key political figures barred from contesting. Outside of Africa, Canada's main election candidates have given remarks following the first debate of the campaign ahead of the April 28 vote. Prime Minister Mark Carney, who succeeded Justin Trudeau on March 14, has avoided major missteps during the French language debate, despite concerns over his fluency. Carney, leading the Liberal Party, faced sustained attacks from Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre, but has gradually appeared more confident during the event. Carney reiterates that his economic expertise makes him the best candidate to counter U.S. President Donald Trump's aggressive trade policies. He said Canada must respond decisively. Poilievre, a fluent French speaker, however, pledged to put Canada first while blaming Liberal leadership for past economic vulnerabilities. And for more on this, I'm joined by our international correspondent, Afia Hagen. Afia, it's nice to have you join us. So what were the main points for the candidates in last night's debates?
Well, Canada faces the same issues that lots of people the world over are facing, and these always show up when people come to the ballot box. So housing, immigration, the economy, and of course climate change. Now, it's a bit of a two-horse race. Liberals and Conservatives are up there as the main candidates, and the Conservatives gave their thoughts on housing and said that we don't need bureaucracy, we need more front doors. So basically we need more houses to be built. Now the Conservatives and the Liberals found some common ground on energy, saying that Canada needs to ramp up its oil and gas production. On immigration, something that's become a hot button topic for Canadians because of their capacity to be able to accommodate new people into the country, immigrants and asylum seekers. Canada has seen a rapid population boom, and that has put pressure on social and housing infrastructure, and the infrastructure is struggling to catch up. So that's really become an issue. Now, the Canadian border has seen an uptick in asylum seekers because of Trump's quite harsh administration policy when it comes to immigration. So it's about expanding the infrastructure within Canada to be able to do that. That has been a big issue as well. And buying Canadian was also put on the line. You know, the leaders really being encouraged and encouraging people to buy Canadian, to be very patriotic in the face of threats from the United States. So the leaders were all asked, you know, have you switched to buying Canadian strawberries, beer or wine, which some of them had, and I think that went down well with voters. Now remember, this was conducted in French language. This took place in Quebec, this particular debate. Quebec is a state that has a lot of seats, tough, especially for Mark Carney, a native English speaker, French is his second language, but lots of people saying that he managed to do well even in the colloquialisms as well as the main parts of the debate communicating in French.
Well, we're aware that Trump has become a huge factor in this election too. What was said about him during the debate?
Absolutely. I mean, Trump is the elephant in the room when it comes to this particular election for two reasons. Firstly, because of the heavy tariffs. They're now on a 90-day pause that those tariffs he has promised across the board will come in when those 90 days are over. And of course, because he has said that he wants Canada to be the 51st state of the United States. Now, Mark Carney has been very vocal already. He is the current Prime Minister. And saying that that's never going to happen. It's not something that he's going to sanction under his rule or under his watch, as it were. And the other leaders basically echoing these same things. You know, the debate was actually opened up by Canadian journalist Patrice Roy, saying that the election had been hijacked by Trump. And a lot of the leaders echoing this, you know, the leader of the Conservatives, accusing the Liberals of weakening the country over the past decade, giving more of a vacuum to Trump to be able to come in and make these economic threats. Singh, the leader of the left-leaning NDP, saying that both the Conservatives and Liberals are wrong for the country in the face of Trump threats.
All right. Afia, thank you so much for the update. Let's go on a very short break. When we return, we'll bring you sports stories. In sports, African players ended their campaigns at the 2025 ITTF World Cup in Macau without advancing to the second stage. Egypt's Dina Meshrev, Omar Assad, Hannah Goda, and Nigeria's Quadri Aruna all suffered defeats in their final group matches. Assad, the reigning Africa Cup champion, lost 3-1 to South Korea's Jeon despite the strong efforts. Meshrev fell 3-1 to China's Man Kwa, who admitted to early struggles before recovering. Rising star Goda was also eliminated after a 3-1 loss to Austria's Sofia Polkanova. Aruna, Africa's top-ranked male player, was swept 4-0 by Sweden's Anton Karlberg. The early exits mark a disappointing conclusion for Africa's top contenders in the prestigious global table tennis tournament. Rafael Nadal will be honored at this year's French Open with a special ceremony on May 25 at Court Philippe Chartier, marking his record 14 titles at Roland Garros. Tournament's director Amelia Mauresmo confirmed the tributes as part of a celebration of past legends and a vision for the future. Nadal, who retired in November, holds the record for the most singles titles at one Grand Slam. The event will also recognize Richard Gasquet and 2000 champion Mary Pierce. And that's all on the news at this hour. We'll look at our top stories before we go. In groundbreaking pre-election conference, News Central has hosted a dialogue for political parties ahead of Lagos local government polls. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar had declared that the coalition to unseat President Bola Tinubu in 2027 is gaining momentum. We also told you that the International Committee of the Red Cross has said more than 8,000 people missing in 2024 due to the conflict in Sudan. Well, you can send your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number on the screen. While you do that, follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. You can also watch us live on DSTV channel 422, GoTV channel 23, Star Times channel 274, including Arvo TV and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I am Lekon Onobanjo.